Okay, looks like we're live. Give it a second, see if some people start to stream in.
Oh, I should share this bad boy too, huh?
Yeah, I'll do the same.
Hey everyone, we got some people starting to stream in, looks like.
Shouting it out in the Metafactory Discord real quick.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Happy Friday.
Welcome, welcome.
All right, cool. So, welcome to All Things Metafactory. Cool. I'm excited to, dive in with you guys and talk a little bit about what we've been working on, cobbling on for a little over a year now. It's been a long journey, or I guess in crypto dog years, it's been a long journey. The space moves fast. But yeah, I guess to get started, my name is Drew Harding. I am one of the co-founders of Metafactory, also pretty active throughout the Ethereum ecosystem. And yeah, I helped put this experiment together, and excited to chat a little bit more about you guys, or with you guys about this. Coldie, let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Drew. Thanks, Dylan. So yeah, I'm Coldie. I'm one of the co-founders of Universe Contemporary. I'm also a crypto artist. And I've had the pleasure of working with Drew on my own project, which we can get to a little bit later. But it's been fun getting to know him. I'm actually also involved in Wicked Sunday Club. I own a pass, and I was kind of in there at the early stages. So it's exciting to see how that's evolved. And,
Sure.
you know, they are up to so many amazing things that it's a good chance to connect with the general crypto fashion community to talk about, you know, all the different ways you're leveraging blockchain and tech and just fashion itself in ways that I haven't seen done and that I could only imagine will continue to grow. So I'm stoked to have this conversation.
For sure. Yeah. You know, the whole thing, the motivation came really just from the desire to celebrate crypto culture. And we, you know, I was really heavily on the conference circuit pre-COVID and like lockdown. And, you know, we all get these great, you know, merchandise and various swag from all the vendors and whatnot at all these conferences, which essentially became my entire wardrobe at a certain point. And, you know, at the same time, we were in DevCon, Osaka, and a bunch of us were chatting about it. And we're like, you know, we could do better. Like, we can create some pretty awesome fashion. We could do some better merchandising and actually add in elements of crypto, possibly even DeFi, and take it another level. So SwagDAO was born, which was the earliest iteration in name. We actually then ran a design branding competition, which led to the formation or the naming of Metafactory. And also Hamad Jut, known as MetaDreamer, came on as a co-founder and has to this day been helping co-lead this thing forward along with a variety of other community members. But yeah, it's, you know, we're kind of unique because we're touching the physical side. And I know a lot of the, you know, digital fashion, crypto fashion, people are more focused entirely on the digital. And it's a lot harder to deal with and address the complexities of physical production. and all the supply chain headaches and everything that goes with that. But as a result, there's a lot more opportunity and there's a lot of potential. I think, to be completely honest, I think a lot of people are sleeping on the physical potential for both NFTs and blockchain. And I think it can, we're obviously coming from an apparel and fashion standpoint, but there's a lot more what can be done here in terms of general merchandise, figurines, other types of applications, and then obviously beyond these types of things. So I have a deck that we've used in the past. Is that sharing right now? Can you guys see the screen?
I see you, but
Dylan, can you switch to my the screen share?
Yep, there we go.
Perfect. So yeah, Metafactory, make fun realities is kind of one of our taglines, slogans / fun makes realities, realities makes fun. It all kind of goes together. Purpose. So this is interesting. And, you know, as I kind of touched on, we're touching and we're exploring a lot of facets of and potential of this, the fashion and blockchain side of what can be done with communities and merchandise and all these things. So the first and foremost is, you know, obviously we want to cultivate Web3 culture. And one of the ways we're doing this and how we've kind of started talking about this is Metafactory is essentially a composable merchandise platform for decentralized communities. We've seen you know, the explosion of web, social, community tokens. And a lot of them, this is coming from Web3 communities, this is coming from existing Web2 or legacy communities that are discovering the power of tokens as, you know, incentive mechanisms. And, you know, they're adopting more of a lean token design approach, which is great, I think. There's, you know, they might not know exactly what the utility of their token will be in terms of the values or whatever the goals of that community might be, but they can start to create value through the token in various ways. The most common one we've seen is via Collabland, which is a way to create token permissioned chats or channels within chats. So Telegram groups or Discord channels. And that's a great way to start creating like exclusive opportunities and to, you know, value around a token. We see Metafactory is also an option here. You know, what's another great way to build community? Merchandise. And we can do things like token permission drops. So you have to have a certain token or so much of a token or an NFT to purchase a certain item. Merch and merch sales as token distribution mechanism. So this is essentially kind of what we do with Robot, which I'll touch on a little later. Also this concept of collector's royalties, which we've explored with a couple artists, where we can take an NFT design, one that's maybe already been sold or in the process of being sold. And what we'll do is apply the design or the art onto a shirt or a hoodie. And every time those sell, the Robot rewards will go to the collector of that NFT and or to the artist, depending on how it's been arranged. So there's a lot of really cool things we can do with that side. The second kind of facet is this whole digi-physical aspect, right? And this is obviously this idea that we want our apparel to span the physical meat space, as well as the digital experiences and platforms, virtual worlds, game platforms, whatever it might be. And we've really had to recalibrate our NFT strategy and the digital strategy side, simply because of the state of the art. You know, interoperability and file formats between different worlds, whether you're talking about voxels and vox files for crypto voxels or Unity files for VR chat or whatever, GLD. So we're taking an approach to where we're making our own NFTs, and we'll be just linking to a IPFS file directory with various file formats. And depending on where you are, you'll be able to access the correct file. This is similar to what Joy has done with his Joy World objects. So we're excited, and that's in process. That'll be rolled out soon. Anyone who's purchased any items from us will actually be receiving an NFT, and obviously this will be for future stuff as well. The other really unique side of this is we have been collaborating with a team, the Cash guys, if you're familiar with them, on a very unique piece of physical hardware. As far as we understand, it's actually the only on-chain cryptographically verified way to link a physical item to the blockchain. It is essentially like a crude cold wallet tied to NFC reader and we drop those in our care labels and or various parts of the garments in all our signature pieces. So right now that's the Genesis bomber, our Wicked Sunday Club piece, the new Vonker hoodie, and also Coldie, the piece we're doing for you. Those are going to be included. So that's really exciting because there's an authenticity verification there. There's a pedigree tracking possibility there. We can link and actually lock the NFT to the piece, the hardware, or the merchandise or apparel. So lots of things to experiment with there and possibilities, which is exciting.
And if I could kind of just hop in really quick on that, just to reiterate to people who are watching this, this is like some brand new kind of tech that I haven't known about. And I was trying to solve this solution a couple of years ago, and it just didn't exist. So when Metafactory came up with this, with the, like he was talking about with the wallet inside of the clothing, that's a groundbreaker. And I think the application for that stretches way further than simple, not simple, but your garment verifications. It's a cheers to that. I just want to applaud where you're taking these things. It's just a different way of thinking about stuff that as a collaborator with you on my own project, like you're bringing these solutions that in the past just had to be like forgotten about. So just keep going. But I just want people to really take a second and think about how that can apply to all kinds of different projects. It's a really big deal.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And to credit where credit's due, right? The Concash team, this is the technology they developed for their bills. And we approached them. I approached them, I think, in Berlin at a conference a couple years ago, and just like, I want to put these in clothes. And they're like, awesome, let's do it. And so now we're actually working on the Gen 2 new form factor that'll be more suited for the wear and tear, dryer cycle, those types of things that come with merchandise and apparel. And so and this last piece here, like empower a community and with a shared interest in success. This is a big part of what we're doing. And, it just happens to be that we're, focused on merchandise and fashion, but, this idea and concept that this is a community owned marketplace and platform. We come from the DAO space primarily. The Metafactory as an idea was born from like Metacartel, which is a grant giving DAO in the Ethereum ecosystem. And we want to explore new ways of capturing and distributing value to the people who create the most value. Robot is our governance token. It's the method that we capture and distribute value to everybody involved. So all buyers of products receive a little bit of Robot. All the designers receive Robot. And we're introducing a curation game in the near future, sometime later this year, that'll allow kind of community to actively participate in curating products and earning as a result of that curation. We're kind of working from this idea or this thought, like, what if every time you bought something from Amazon, you received a bit of Amazon stock? And that's not to say we're trying to mimic stock or any form of security, but more this idea that everyone who creates value, deserves to participate in the upside. And also this like applies to the brand concept of this stuff too, where, I see it as an evolution of the lifestyle brand, where instead of wearing Nike or Lululemon because you resonate as an athlete or you see yourself as an athlete and those values, you kind of participate or align as like a passive consumer. The idea that the consumer should actually be an active participant in shaping the brand, shaping its values, and sharing in the success of that. So yeah, a lot to unpack there, but that's it's kind of important to, like, I guess, touch on real quick. But yeah, moving forward, I mean, we sit at the convergence of community, culture, and finance, and really are touching like the DAOs, DeFi, and NFTs, which it's exciting to see us at this place now in the space, in the industry too, where these for so long were such niche independent kind of like within their own, within this tiny industry you're already in. We're starting to see these things bleed over in really new, exciting ways, and allow the money Legos to move us into new possibilities at a social and cultural level. So yeah, this is some of the stuff we've done. You know, we launched the Metafactory signature brand and the Wicked Sunday Club, which we'll touch back on later, Coldie. So this is an older deck. We actually just recently passed our 200,000 sales mark, which we're super excited about. We're about a little over a year old, as I touched on. We did a mask match initiative where we were donating masks for everyone sold, had a variety of different artists that did their own designs. Touched on the chips a little bit and the collector's royalties. Yeah, and today now we've really spent a lot of time honing in supply chain, figuring out the best way to approach these things, product market fit in terms of some of the things I touched on previously. And then, yeah, starting to really align and find success collaborating with social tokens, community tokens, projects that already exist in the space or outside of the space that understand this potential of positive sum network effect in kind of these unique collaborative ways. So yeah, the old Metafactory was a lot of experimentation, validation. You know, now we're focused on growth and decentralization. We went through a rebranding as well, which this on the right is kind of our new branding. As I touched on, Robot is our governance token. So we didn't do a sale. What we did is we were running the marketplace and we did a couple of the first Genesis item signature sales before we even had the idea for Robot. I was actually telling you, Coldie, a little earlier that Robot was actually born out of some of the challenges we experienced with Wicked Sunday Club and the need to attract more creators and to reward them for the work they do as a way to attract. And so there was plenty of people who wanted to buy stuff and, you know, like consume these products, but we needed more people to really get involved and decentralize. So it wasn't just us leading this thing. So yeah, we rewarded everybody who'd participated with the kind of surprised them with a retroactive airdrop of Robot. There's a fixed supply of 420,000. This is you know, these are rewards for buyers, designers, and operations, as well as curation, which I mentioned earlier. And yeah, we roll product sale profits back into buying back and providing liquidity for Robot. So, you know, as long as we're selling product, we're essentially continuing to, you know, put value back into the tokens, and that allows us to continue providing rewards and whatnot. This is some of our initial perks. We have a variety of permission chats. We also have a smaller one at 5 Robot now. But yeah, there's levels at our highest. You have access to all the different community rooms that in conversations with people we're talking with, and obviously access to our full profit and loss statement. You can see everything we're doing. All our books are open. So that's a way to obviously like substantiate and ensure that we can continue to remain like decentralized. Governance obviously focused on the surplus capital expenditures, future products, token mechanics, distribution. There's a lot of thought around the buyer rewards. We've gone through a little bit of we've received some love from the market recently, which is creates some challenges for how the buyer rewards are currently set up. So it's an ongoing challenge. Good problems, but it's allowed us to, or you know, it's forced us to evolve along with, you know, the market changes, and you know, because we ourselves are a community token trying to figure it out as we go. This is some information on like how we run it. So the tokens are distributed based on dollars sold and change. They drop the rewards at every milestone. We did also actually vote as a community to drop the rewards to the 0.05 mark because we just had to like adjust things. I expect we'll probably be doing that again soon. But if you need to, or you want to learn more about that, you can always reach out, or there's our Medium article about Robot. It has all the details there as well. So yeah, this idea, number go up is a rallying cry for effective community coordination. So there's I touched on it a little earlier, but we have these great new tools, and DAOs and technology and smart contracts, blockchain. They're not going to solve, however, the inherent problem of human coordination and these challenges that we experience in trying to create flat hierarchies and decentralized organizations. So that's what tokens are great at. And I think that the token price is often a reflection of how well you've structured things in a way to create that value and distribute it. So we're in this for the long term, and we see a lot of potential for that concept to really like shine and be an example for others to take this and do it themselves. So this is also what we've done is we've used our model, and with like the launch of Vonker, which is Van's Design's new brand, we're creating a market and we're creating liquidity around his social token, which has already existed for some time, but he hasn't figured out a way, or didn't really know the best way to go about creating a market and making it live. So we are able to do that through the Vonker sale and through the Vonker brand, which is great. So yeah, obviously, as a result, we are though dealing with a lot of centralized processes because we're physical production partners, managing all these things. So we have to manage and sit between LLC and DAO. The DAO is essentially in charge of most of the direction and strategy, and the LLC just kind of handles the the paperwork and the necessities. But really, the LLC is a slave to the DAO in the sense of how the movements we make and where we go. Yeah, Web3 target market. Some of the people we've worked with. There's a lot more now. Again, this is a little bit of an older presentation. Some of the next stuff we're working on. Yeah.
You guys are so busy. I mean,
we're all over.
It's awesome. The thing about it is like it would be so easy for you guys to just make cool looking stuff. And not that that's an easy process, but you could call it right there. But just the level of the tokenomics and, really getting the community involved, that to me is just such a big thing, because you're not just pumping out stuff for people to buy. You want to grow the community. You want vested people who want to grow with you. And just where you're headed is awesome.
Yeah, it's that goes deeper too. Like we're super focused on the design and the creative side right now because it's kind of low hanging fruit. And the reality is we're all technologists, or most of us are technologists. We don't come from the fashion space traditionally, and so we're kind of like learning these things as we go, especially like the richer and nuances of supply chains and creation and garment, textile making and all that stuff. And there's a lot of things I'm discovering that we have the opportunity to come in from just a different perspective, no mental model influence or bias, and kind of change. And the ethos of decentralization is like core to everything. So being able to create these, and we're talking with a lot of fashion houses around creating like these micro factory networks. The idea of a micro factory is not new. There's a lot of people who've been toying with this. Either they themselves are getting the equipment to be able to operate and do everything in-house, or they're networked with a few people and they specialize in one place. And it's been great because for a lot of our custom pieces, we're doing that directly with one of these micro factories and their network. And we can really hone things and run do a run with them, get all the edge cases worked out and the details honed, and then take that to another one and say, hey, here are the specs. We want you to make these for us. And the goal here would be to do something where anything that's bought in the Americas is produced and sold in the Americas. Anything that's bought in Europe is produced and sold in Europe. Asia, same thing, right? So this idea of like decentralized production. So one, we're not just like mass producing fast fashion style in these factories and then shipping this shit bulk all the way around the world. We're making more, like we're strengthening supply chains, but the other side is these like independent factories and workers, like we can bring value to them. We can actually like bring it to the Main Street guys who are actually like so passionate about what they're doing too. And the other piece is, pattern makers and garment makers. It's such an interesting aspect of the space, and they themselves are amazing artists, and they're so focused on the construction and the architecture of it all. And the only way for them to really like monetize that work or like see benefit is they either sell that to a brand, or they need to own essentially the whole thing from like create their own brand, right? And like put a design and then like launch it and whatnot. Can we actually bring the patterns to Metafactory and tokenize those patterns even, and say, all right, choose your pattern. Here are a bunch of different options from a bunch of different artists. Great. Now let's put a design on it. Great. Now, like, should we embroider? Is this screen printing? And so essentially we can put that all the way along. Use, by the way, these are the chips that I was referring to. Use these bad boys. This is the hardware that's the cold wallet piece. And then this is essentially NFC reader, QR code as like another way to access. And then these tags will allow you to get right into the hardware too, like through like wired. But yeah, we can use that potentially to allow for fingerprinting along the way, where the individual who's taking the blank or making the blank is one person, who's putting the print on another person, and the person who's sewing it all together another person. Like, each of those people should be receiving a robot from my perspective, right? Wow. Like that would be these are end goals, big vision, but it extends beyond just the digital to us, right? Because now it's the cultural side and the ethos side that we can kind of like bring and show them. And now you introduce a token and like the alignment makes sense and the possibilities there make sense, and everyone's incentivized the same way, right? So it's exciting. Yeah.
That's fascinating. When you say that, what instantly comes to mind is like the music industry, right? So you buy the record off the shelf, but you don't think about, the producer, the people who made the inserts, the artist who designed the cover, and all those people, I think, along the way get cut out to a certain extent, or
right.
at least not acknowledged, right? And I think,
or like the Academy Awards, where it's like all the scientific and like they do the other one, and it's just like, what? Those people, that's like more than half the movie most of the time, right? So yeah, that's
awesome. Well, I'd love to see how that evolves, because all these people spend freaking $1,000 on a pair of shoes, and I want to know who stitched that shit.
Right?
That matters to me. So I think that's really, really cool. Yeah.
There's a lot of exploitation at that level too, right? Yeah. So being able to give those people an opportunity to just skip over the middleman and go straight to the marketplace or the creator, there's huge opportunity in that side. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely an important facet of like what we're doing. The other piece though, taking it back and not to discredit is that creative side, right? Is that potential for headless brand, for community brand, not just in like governance token perspective, but in true like design and aesthetic. So going back to Wicked Sunday Club, right? One of the main ideas or concepts there, and this was driven by, some context, Wicked Sunday Club is our first kind of signature or sub brand under Metafactory, other than like Metafactory brand. The first one we did in collaboration with another artist, Twisted Vacancy. So if you're not familiar with Twisted Vacancy, he's OG crypto artist, very amazing, colorful, loud style. If you don't know, you've probably seen his stuff. It stands out. It's amazing. It's great. And I, immediately was like, this would make a great like Hawaiian, just beach shirt, something, and chatted with him. He actually brought a lot to the table in terms of like the initial ideas for Metafactory, the direction for Metafactory. He was one of the primary kind of artists and creatives that like we use as sounding board, because again, we're coming at it more from DAO and technology perspective. But yeah, he ended up coming up with this idea. He's like, what I'm going to do is create a style guide, and I'm going to make this style. Basically, anyone who participates and becomes a Genesis member is going to have access to this style guide, and not only access, but they can take all these files, templates, assets, the palette, and design their own clothing using the templates that we have and put those in the shop under the Wicked Sunday Club brand. And so since we've launched, we've had 3 pieces made by the community, 2 joggers and a sweater. And then obviously the Genesis piece, which was designed by Twisted himself. And it's been great because there's a lot of potential there too. Just one, obviously in like the kind of community owned aesthetic and brand, there's guidelines that like Twisted's setting, but there is flexibility in kind of where it goes, right? That part is like really exciting. And it also opens up opportunity around like licensing and royalties in unique ways where you could actually NFT, tokenize all those assets and allow anybody now from the community to, whether it's buy or rent or purchase a license for a specific type of use case or a duration of use or whatever it might be. And that's exciting because, it allows the little guy to use an asset from an artist or even a brand that normally they otherwise couldn't. So right now, style guides, when you want to merchandise something, you got to pay $100,000. You get the whole catalog, and but sometimes it's like, no, I just want the Mickey gloves, right? I just want to do something with the Mickey gloves, right? And there's not an easy way or an opportunity there. So that's like a whole nother facet of, and something we've kind of been experimenting with in like a microcosmic fashion within Metafactory with like our collector's royalties, which is a pretty exciting.
How does the collector royalties work on that?
So I can actually show you guys. So Rare Designer, also Pepe Designer, goes by Pepe Designer, amazing artist as well. He had created an NFT of this awesome cyberpunk figure character, and sold the NFT. And upon selling it, he part of the like rights or the benefit of getting this NFT was he was going to allow us to put it on a print, tank top and a t-shirt. Actually, this is the tank. So you can see Rare's artistic style there. Yeah. So that design was an NFT, and then every time those sell in our store, the collector of that NFT receives a portion of the robot rewards. Rare himself also does, but he's essentially taken 20% of those, and then 80% go to the collector. Okay. We also had another artist.
So for the first time it sells, the collector gets a cut, or is it an ongoing?
Ongoing, yeah.
So if you're the first guy to collect it, every time it moves, you get the reward for being the good eye.
That's it. Yeah, that's how we're doing it. Yeah. And that's because we give ongoing robot rewards for everything that's so it's like it's built in, right? So yeah, you could do it differently. We could, we've done so many different variations and experiments on things, but that's how we've considered it so far. We did another one, the Eva's heart shirt. Same thing. She actually painted that acrylic, then put it on crypto Twitter. Everyone's like, you got to NFT that thing. And then, so she turned it into an NFT, and then I hopped in from Metafactory. I was like, we got to put that on a shirt. Like, it would just be great as just a little heart on like a red shirt. Did that, sure enough. And we did the collector's royalty thing where the collector of that NFT now receives like 80% of the robot rewards that for things sold. And this is something that obviously there's a huge movement and the market is exploding for NFTs, right? And I think that there's going to be a need and a refocus on like the utility side of these things. And that's not to say that art and aesthetic isn't utility. And like one of the ways we can do that is, well, we create a new revenue stream for it, or we create a value capture possibility where even existing NFTs, if the artist or the collector or both agree to allow it to be sold as merchandise or to be sold as a print, that person, we could do the same thing where that person is earning on each sale, the collector and or the artist. So yeah, a lot of potential there in terms of generalizing that utility and creating opportunity for NFTs. We're working with another group right now on also a print, direct to like digital print strategy. Likely going to work with a few projects initially, because we essentially are doing only if you own the NFT, can you order the print? And so then we have to render an art file. So we have to write like all these scripts. So likely do like hash masks and avastars, CryptoPunks, the ones that are like kind of replicable, and then see how we can offer that or generalize it in a way. So.
Wow, that's cool. I would love to have a punks hoodie or something. That'd be sick.
Yeah, and if you have it, it's like that you own it essentially, right? Which may be a little bit of OPSEC, but it's kind of, it's definitely one of those, like, it's a little flex, and it's pretty cool. And at the same time, yeah, on the print side, we could do the same thing where you can verify directly from it that like who the owner is or the details of it. So it's like a built-in QR and stuff like that. So.
And it seems like that's in a sense leading towards licensing other projects. That's a whole different game. But I know that, as a collector, I have things in my wallet that are just so sick, but you own the representation of the art. You don't own the IP, right? So
right.
I think down the road, there's going to be that way to possibly work with the artist to say, hey, like what rights are built into your
exactly, yeah,
your token sale. And I think I get hit up with that all the time, even for my own stuff, where the collector's like, hey, can I like put this on t-shirts and a mug? I'm like, no. But in the future, it'd be nice to be able to, build that as an option,
Yeah. Obviously, like NFT 42 team, Jim, and like they're the on-chain gang, they're hyper focused on that type of stuff. And we're kind of pushing the conversation too. Like we can create that in like a closed, like platform situation with my Metafactory, right? We can like get everybody to agree, if like make it official if we need to or whatever. But in terms of generalizing it, right, and making that like agnostic and built into contracts, so like it doesn't have to be tracked through one platform or what. Yeah, that's the goal, right? We want to get there.
Wow, man, you are a busy team. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, it's been a lot of like experimenting. Again, we have focus in a variety of different ways. It's a lot of making incremental improvements and progress in each one, but also prioritizing the ones we think have like the most immediate impact and or potential. And the reality is, like, as long as we're creating value for others, like it seems to create the feedback loop and push forward, which is really what we want to do. So, and create like opportunity for people to come in and earn opportunity for people to come in and celebrate and be rewarded for like their artistic, their creative, their operational, so.
I saw somebody in the chat asking about the robot token. Is that strictly a given out token? Is that on exchanges? Is that?
It's live on Balancer. We have a Balancer smart pool. Actually, no, it's not yet. Yeah, we're exploring that. There is almost like $1 million in liquidity on Balancer, so it's a healthy pool. But yeah, we're actually looking at possibly Sushi Swap first, maybe Uniswap, but that's being discussed in the community. I'll keep everybody posted. It's been coming up a lot recently. If you go to swap.metafactory.ai, that's a redirect for anyone who's curious. But
when you're talking about the community, let's say people are here and they want to get in the community. Where is it, Discord, or where are you guys?
Yeah, the best is definitely going to be to join our Discord. I'd also highly recommend following us on Twitter. That's like the main vehicle by which we like talk, announce drops, talk about what we're doing, changes in community, whatnot. So
cool. Yeah, it's fascinating. And if I could just tell my little story about how you guys helped me.
Yeah, I'd love to.
As an artist, this literally started, I think, 1.5 or 2 years ago, where the actual idea is about 10 years old, where I had this idea of taking a t-shirt and cutting it and re-sewing it and printing it. And it just like sat in my brain for too long. And then I decided to like somehow just make one. So I did it. And this is actually the prototype of it that I had made. So I had the shirt and I had it cut and resewn. And the problem was that I wanted to be blockchain enabled. I wanted to take, advantage of the technology, but 2 years ago there was no technology. So I was going to like tokenize some NFTs and just manually mail them. And it was going to kind of get the job done, but there was no like way to really do it. And hats off to Sky Minert, who's just that guy, who I happened to tell him about it. And he's like, dude, Metafactory, they're going to take care of it. And it was just so true, so like we got connected, and then, you guys came in and I told you kind of the goals, and you had all these solutions that I would have never been able to do. And I'm actually happy that I didn't get the shirts done when I did. Sorry to everybody who's bought them, but I know that in the long run, the value is already built in. But yeah.
That's the other side of the physical. It takes a while, even if there isn't hiccups or challenges. It's a longer, fulfillment time. And a lot of what we're focusing on is like streamline that. How can we create, an easier path to that?
And you haven't been the hiccup. The funny part is this thing was already like a year in production.
Right. Yeah.
So they're like, I'll get an email.
I remember I hit you up too. I was, cause I wasn't going to make it out to NFT NYC, which is I think where you dropped those. And I sent you an email. I was like, hey, I'd love to buy one of those shirts. So can I buy them like virtually? He's like, no, you got to be here. I was like, oh, okay. And then full circle, I'm like, all right. So, and we're going to make some extras, right? So yeah.
Yeah. The cool thing is the thing is, what I want to reiterate to anybody who's looking for that type of collaboration is I brought what I thought was a good solution, and they worked with me on, I wanted it screen printed. I didn't want it direct to garment. I wanted, I had these certain stipulations, and they're like, totally, let me find the vendor. They took care of a lot of that stuff that as an artist, I just wouldn't know what to do. So I still feel in really good hands. And as we're doing it, I'm excited now because it got bigger than it was going to be before. And with the tech enabled inside of it, everyone's going to win. And including, the great part was I sold these like a year and a half ago. It's been so long. In crypto years, it was a different lifetime. And, the first ones, I did this like kind of like simple FOMO bonding curve where the first two sold for $65. And, those guys I'm stoked for. I'm just, because I love my collectors. So it's like, they're getting like this upgraded piece that they weren't expecting. And there's going to be more for new people. So I'm just proud to be working with you guys, quite honestly.
I appreciate it. I mean, like we're honored to be working with like such a renowned artist, crypto artists and a non-crypto artists as well. It's really like, we want to facilitate your guys' creativity, right? We want to provide new possibilities, revenue streams, opportunities. And the whole thing is designed to be, kind of hassle-free and there's no cost, right? So we wrote, it's unique in how it's also like the compensation side and robot and all that, which is, we think it's really special and there's a lot of potential there. People who have been with us for a bit are starting to see that pay dividend, but it's, no artist like yourself wants to like worry about like the headache of like finding the vendor and then dealing with the, and how inside and grading. And so, it's an economies of scale thing. And if we're going to be doing this for many different people, like it's worth us putting in the effort and figuring this process out and then just like providing that value to you in like easy way. So.
Stoked to hear what you're doing, and it's just going to open up so many more doors for people. So I'm happy to watch you guys on the path.
Awesome. I appreciate the support. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, it's awesome. This is my first time kind of really hearing about what you guys are up to, and it sounds really exciting. Really great stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you both so much for being here. I don't know if you want to take some time to answer a few questions or.
Yeah, I'm happy to if there are some. I haven't really been paying attention to.
Does
Yeah,
anyone
so
in the audience have any questions to ask?
so we, in terms of the fashion side, we actually don't. Our main production partner is On Demand. So and they're based out of Los Angeles, actually right down the street from me. And basically what that means is we only produce things as they're purchased, which means there's no excess or overhead. We're not creating and storing inventory. We're not leveraging overseas manufacturers in that sense. We also, on the custom design garments, we work directly with small fashion houses, micro factories, which I touched on a little bit earlier. So we're hyper focused on like not enabling the fast fashion side. So yeah, that's we're very cognizant of that as a significant problem that needs to be addressed in all this. So yeah, sustainably produced as well. Very so our primary partner, who's actually based in Sweden, they are highly focused on zero waste design. We are looking to possibly leverage one of their new t-shirt templates, which is a 99% t-shirt like fabric pattern design, which if you know anything about fashion, most garments, it's about a 15% waste for every garment made. Basically how you create these box pattern cutouts. The excess is just thrown away, crumpled up and thrown away. About 15% for each garment. So we have some unique designs that fashion house, and as well as the gentleman who runs it, name's Rickard Lindquist. He's also he's an incredible mind. He has this fashion kinetic design theory for fashion that he has been working really hard to bring to the market. Essentially, the structures of our like garments have not evolved at all since around the 1500s, these box patterns of t-shirts and how things are constructed. And they don't really accommodate or think of or consider the body in movement, especially, or really in motion. And so he has a bunch of garment patterns and whatnot that it has introduced, and we're going to be creating some garments around and with that we're really excited to bring to market, because we see this as also part of this fashion 3.0 evolution beyond the NFT and the digital blockchain sides of it. So I can't really go down the chat, so I can really only address these top ones. Rental digital art markets doing in the future. That's an interesting one. Permanence of a physically printed object is a little tricky from a rental perspective, but there could be some possibilities. It might play to the licensing side. Yeah, I think there's that. I see the potential there more in the gaming side of the space, and or NFTs with utilities to unlock higher levels, higher attributes. Obviously, game comes to mind first there, but that could be in different forms. So yeah, there is a couple of groups actually have already worked on and created solutions. I know a couple hackathon projects that have done like NFT renting, which is pretty cool. Also, from a landlord / virtual land rental standpoint, that's a possibility there as well for that. Yeah. I don't know if there's other questions from the past. I can't really read down in the chat, but yeah.
Yeah, there weren't really very many.
Okay, cool.
But we kind of start to wrap it up. Yeah, thank you both so much for being here and being a part of Crypto Fashion Week. It's
yeah, for sure.
Wonderful to have you.
Yeah, thank
if you have
so
any closing thoughts.
No, I just say thanks for the opportunity, and thanks for allowing us to chat about what we're doing. And Coldie, thanks for spitting the shit with me, and yeah, looking forward to seeing what we can do next and what we're going to be creating. So
yeah, no, it's been a pleasure talking with you, Drew. It's nice to get on a video chat. We're always talking on Discord, so it's actually nice to have a visual. So it's been a pleasure. Dylan, you and the team have been doing a great job with the whole week. So, great job. Great to see this moving forward. And, fashion is one of those kind of untouched kind of rabbit holes that I think crypto and blockchain is just really going to gravitate towards. So all the new people in here that are fresh to blockchain or fashion or both, these are the people to watch. And please go follow Metafactory, because what they're doing tomorrow is going to be even more crazier than what they're doing today. They're really, really good people.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Coldie. Yeah, if you guys join our community, feel free to reach out. Again, my name is Drew Harding. You'll see me on the Discord. I'm happy to chat with you guys about anything, or if you have questions, just let me know.
All right. Well, thanks again,
Awesome.
everybody.
Awesome. Cheers.
Yeah,
thanks.
you both.
Cool.
Yeah.
Peace.
See ya. Well, that wraps up kind of our final exhibition for the week. Thank you, everyone, for participating, for watching, for joining our Clubhouse talks and asking questions here in the chat. It's been really great to have you all. We have a final kind of end of the week event coming up immediately after this. So in about 10 minutes, it'll be with Kooky AI, and she did a few interviews with some of the leaders in the space. And we'll be showcasing those interviews, as well as trying to hopefully do a live Q&A with the Kooky AI bot. So that should be really fun. And yeah, grateful for you all. Please join in for that. I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsor, Luxo. Their support's been amazing through this whole process. They've been an awesome sponsor and partner. Yeah, well, thank you. And I see you on the next talk. Have a good night.